Hi everyone. Today Salesforce Lightning Web Component Day 4. So today our agenda is we'll quickly go through the previous session overview, and then we'll talk about the LWC LDS Lightning Data System, and then we'll talk about the programming based LDS Imperation. So today we'll see most of the use cases related to the programming based LDS. Then Lifecycle Hooks in LWC, and how the program get executed in LWC. We will see this conclusion, and then we'll have a today's interview question. Now, last class we have discussed about the basically LWC LDS is Lightning Data System is divided into two types: form-based LDS and program-based LDS. Form-based LDS is divided into three types: view form, edit form, record form. So last class we have created a program related to the edit form, record form, view form. So we have created a sample programs, and today we are going to do the programming based LDS. In the programming based, we have a imperation methods, and wire adapter. So today, imperation, that means how to create a new record or a create, insert, or how to update a record, how to delete a record. And then wire or adapter programming, like a wire property, how to use a wire property in LWC. We'll see that the first thing which we are going to implement the program which is related to the impression. So I'll be creating a form, which is an account creation form. In that we have an account name, account phone number, account fax, account industry, and then there is a button called create button. Now in Imperation, we have a create, update, delete. In Imperation, we have a create, delete, update. So create is nothing but how to create a record. How to create a record. So Imperation, we have create, update, delete. These are the different types are there. Create is nothing but how to create a record. How to create a record. Update is nothing but how can we update a record using the LWC. And then how to delete a record using the LWC. And the first thing which I'm going to write a program related to the create a record. Now, as usually, I have to create a couple of fields because I have an account name, account phone, account fax, account industry. I have these data. Now let's go ahead and implement the program. Close all of this. Control Shift P. Create a Lightning Web component. The component which we are creating is program LWC underscore imperation create. Now by default, JavaScript is getting open. Now I'll go to the HTML. In the HTML, by default, it is going to give me the template. Within the template, let me add the lightning card, and title equal to account creation. Let's say imperatively. Now within the lightning card, I have an account name, phone, fax, industry, and one button. So let me create a input field, lightning colon input, lightning hyphen input, lightning hyphen input. So type is, let's take it as a text and label, account name. So I'm using the on change. I'll call a function here, handle name. Now like this, I need a phone number, fax, industry, phone, fax, industry. And then I'll create a button, lightning hyphen button, label equal to create account and on click equal to handle button. That's a UI. That is the UI. Now I need to implement JavaScript. I need to implement a JavaScript. Now here name, phone, fax, industry. So I have a 4 fields. So I need a 4 variables and we have a 5 methods. Including the button, we have a 5 methods and 4 variables are there. So let's go to the JavaScript. In the element, I need a name, phone, fax, industry. These are the methods. These are the variables. And the methods are, I'll use the different one, handle phone, handle fax, handle industry. We have a 5 functions. So let's go ahead and implement this. Event. Similarly, we have handle phone, event, and then I have handle fax, event, handle industry, handle button. Handle button. These are the 5 functions and 4 methods. 5 functions, 4 methods. Now, let me save this. Now I need to, whatever the user is entering the data, I need to capture the data and store it into the variable called name. Now, how can I capture the value, whatever the user has entered? Whatever the user has entered in the input field, in order to capture the data,
target value.
Right. Event dot target dot value. Now this handle name, I'm going to store it into the this dot name. I have a local variable which is called as a name. Similarly, here also I'll store in the phone. This dot phone. This dot fax. This dot industry. Now I have stored the data. Now the situation right now is I need to create a record. I need to create a record. So whatever the user enter the data here, as soon as they click on a create button, now what are the latest one is there, the latest record has to be created inside the Salesforce. Now if I go to the Salesforce, let's take an example of account. Let's go to the account. Now, as soon as the user enter the data has to be shown here. That means a record has to be created. How can I create the record here? Now, in order to create a record, like in normally JavaScript or in Apex, we have something called try catch. We have something called try catch. Concept is there, try catch. If it is working fine, then it will go in the try means it is working fine. Try to insert or try to update a data. In case if during the execution of the particular method, if there is any issue, it will go into the catch. It will go into the catch. Similarly, in LWC also, for the create record, we have a try catch. In JavaScript, how do we write a try catch? Create record dot, then dot catch. Create record, then dot catch. Try catch. Dot then dot catch is nothing but try catch. If everything is moving perfectly fine here, it will execute whatever is there in the then. If there is any issue, catch will hold off it and it will throw an error message. So catch is basically to show the error message. Right? So this is the method. This is the method or line of code we will be using in the LWC. So let's copy this, create a record dot, then dot catch. Now, before doing this, I need a couple of data. What user has entered. So the first step that I need to do is capture the data that whatever the user has entered. Step 1 is capture list of fields which user has entered. Step 2 Step 2 is create a record with the field. That means I need to implement a API record. Create a API record with field. And step 3 is I need to call Imperation. Calling Imperation is nothing but this one. Create a record, create record dot, then dot catch. Now, capture list of fields. Where are the fields that I can capture here? These are the fields. What are the user has entered here? Whatever the user has entered here, all this data is account name, account phone number. This data I can capture it. Now, how can I store that data? I need to store it into the list. So let me build a list here. I'm taking the const fields. I'm building the JSON. Now I need a name. I need a phone. I need facts. I need industry. These all fields which I need in order to store the data. In order to create the record, I need these all data. Now name from where can I take it? From this one, right? So what I'll do is colon, I'll type a name, and phone number, I'll take it from the phone. Facts, I'll take it from the facts. Industry, I'll take it from the local field called industry. Now name equal to this dot name, phone equal to this dot phone, facts equal to this dot facts, industry equal to this dot industry. Now I have a JSON is built. There is a JSON object is built and which is stored into the fields variable. So fields is containing the list of the field in order to create a record. Now the next thing is that I need to create a record, API record, create a API record with field. Now how can I create a API record with field? Now let me create another variable here, const. I'll use a record data. Now within this API name, colon, I'm creating the account record. Account, and then I'm passing the above fields here. Above fields, I'm passing it. Now I'm building the API here. I'm building the API. Which object I'm building the API? Account object. API name is account object. What are the fields that I'm passing? These are the fields. I have built it in the first step. What are the list of fields are there? The list of fields I'm passing it to here. List of fields I'm passing it to here. And the next one is I need to call the imperation. Next one is I need to call the imperation. Now for the create record. Now entire data is available here. Which object, what fields need to be considered in order to create a new record? Everything in the record data. Everything in the record data. Now if you hover this record data contains API name, fields are name, phone, facts, industry. So it has implemented the JSON structure. It has implemented the JSON structure. Now this record data, I'm going to pass it to the create record. I'm going to pass it to the create record. I'm passing it to the create record. Is this clear for everybody? Any questions, any confusion here? Any questions or any confusion? If everybody is clear, then I'll move on.
Ma'am, can you explain step 2 again?
Sorry?
Step 2, create API record with field.
Okay. So step 1 is a capture list of fields. That means whatever the fields that user has entered, I am building based on that value. I'm building the JSON structure here only for the fields. Only for fields, I'm building a JSON structure. Now I need to build a API record for object with the fields. For object with the fields. Now how can I build? That means I need to tell the system. I need to tell the system for which object am I passing these fields. Right. If I say here name, phone, facts, industry, but if I say here opportunity, it will not work. In opportunity, I do not have these fields. In opportunity, I do not have these fields. So you need to give a related API name, which is which object it is. And while creating Create a API record with a field is nothing but clicking on a new button, entering the data there. So where you are entering the data, you are entering the data called account object. In the account record, you are entering the data. What is the data? Data is stored in the fields. So API name is object name, and you have to pass the fields. Fields are, what are the fields are that are available this. And this is the final output of the entire record. So this record I am passing to the step 3, create record, then dot catch is nothing but try and catch. Try and catch.
Okay, ma'am.
Anybody who are still not clear? Okay, so let's go ahead and deploy this. Control Shift to P. Deploy the source to org. Right. So these are the, now it is deployed. What is the component name? LWC Imperation. Let's copy this. Now let's go back to the developer console. In the developer console, let me close all of this. File, open resource, start.app. Now I have a let me create a new lightning application, or we have a existing one, right? LA underscore application. Yes. C colon LWC Imperation create. Now click on a preview. Now here is the account name, account phone number, account packs, account industry, and a create a account button. Create account. Now, if you want to place a styling, you can place the styling. That should be fine. Deploy the source to org. Now, for example, I'm entering the data here. Imperation account, phone number packs, industry. Let's take it as a banking. Click on create account. What is happening? Uncaught. Refresh. Let me go to the inspect console. Source. Fax number, industry. Let's take the proper industry. Detail section, industry. Banking is correct. Okay, so DML operation lead source is mandatory. Okay, so that's the reason it is breaking the LWC first execution. Where is this? This is a validation rule. No, this is something trigger. Perfect. So let's go ahead and Let me open the trigger. File, open resource. Okay, so let me deactivate the account trigger. Where is the trigger? Trigger. Now let me open update contact details. Edit. Now let's deactivate it. Save. Let me save this. Okay, so now let me try. Banking, click on create account. JavaScript. I'm using the account name, test account, and then I have a phone fax industry, phone fax industry. Click on save. Yes, record is creating perfectly fine without any issue. But what is the issue here? Account industry banking. Record data, API name, comma fields. Let me put a debugger here. Is there anywhere capital letter, small letter?
For
Industry.
fax, there is no semicolon, is it?
For which one?
Fax,
Fax.
Semicolon, ma'am, in fact.
semicolon.
Okay, now let me deploy this. Okay. Now let's try now. Let's refresh. Create record account. Phone number. Fax. Industry banking. Now click on create. Right. Let me go here. Now fields are containing the name, phone number, industry, fax, whatever the data I have entered, it is containing the data. Now record data has API name, account, and fax, industry name, phone number. Now it is proper. Why it is saying that? Create record. Let me do one thing. Okay, so let's go back to the here. Let's print the, if it is an error, now I wanted to understand what is the error. So in the catch, what I'll do is error. And let me print the alert message here. Alert. Record creation is failed. But when it is failed, I wanted to know the exact message. Plus error dot body dot message.
Ma'am, is that a syntax? Error equals to greater than.
Yeah,
That is-
so this is basically error equal to greater than is a, basically equal to is nothing, but this is a JavaScript terminology. We always write it like this. So error equal to, and then you can place this. So whatever you are doing in the catch, you have to do the, directly you can not write the alert message. Directly you cannot write the alert message. So before writing the alert message, you need to specify that error equal to greater than, then in the curly braces, that means you need to build a JavaScript. You need to build a JavaScript. Now let me see, how can I improve this? The font size. I wanted to improve the font size. Where is that? Settings. Preferences. Settings. Not here. File preferences. Keyboard shortcuts, configure user snippet. Theme, it has a color theme, but font is not there. Okay. Fine, but you guys are able to see this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Create record data, then catch error, and then equal to greater than curly braces alert. I'm printing the error dot body dot message. Let me deploy this to the source org. Now let's refresh. Test 1, 2, 3, phone number 345, fax, industry, banking. Click on create record. Latest data did not come. Let me refresh again. New account, phone number, fax, banking. Click on create. Still, I have not received the latest one. Control Shift P. Deploy this to source org. New account, phone number, fax, banking. Click on create account. Oh, I have the values. Okay, small. What is this unport? Let me create one account here. Click on save. No validation error, no trigger error. But what is this? Lightning Web Component create account. Aura FW JavaScript. Create record, record data, then catch. Industry facts. Till this point, everything is perfect, fine, but create record, record data dot then is having a problem. Catch error. Let me comment this. Let's see whether it is working or not. Deploy the source to org. Now let's go ahead and see this. Testing account create. It is fine, it is working. Problem is here. Did I do the spelling mistake? Create record. Create record. Record data. Then let me write here. Result. Console.log. Record. Let's deploy this. New test, create account. Okay, so let's do this. What is the problem here? Create record data dot then dot catch. Did it give the console? Inspect. Create record dot then dot catch. Component library. Now here. Create record. Now here won't be there. Create record. Create record input. Create record input dot then dot catch. Right, API name is account object because here it is account. Comma fields. This is the same thing we are using it. Let me copy this, create record dot then. What is the problem here? Create record. Right, then and the catch. We take this. Let's comment out this. Create a record. Inside the record, I need to pass the record data. Is the record data is, yes, it's a JSON structure. Perfect. This is also JSON structure. I have a record data here. Then and catch. Let's say deploy this to source org. Refresh. I have a record data, API name, facts, industry, API name, the format is right. API name. Yeah, small letter, capital M. So API fields defined only the name we have given. It is going into the error. Push error across the boundaries. It is error right now. Throw an error. Create record is not defined at proxy handle button. Create record is not defined at proxy. Did I write a create record outside of the method? This is right. It says that create record is not defined at proxy handle button. Handle button, event, debugger, field, record, create record. What is wrong here? Create account fields. And fields are coming from here, record type input. Create record is not defined at proxy. Where is the proxy? Name, phone, fax, industry. Account. Is API names are correct? Constant fields. What might be the problem here? API need just 3 lines. Something is wrong. Saying that it is not defined at the proxy. Contact is working fine. So let me check once again. Let me add the account details. Now here, account name, contact name, last name, create record API, then what might be the problem with the account? So let me copy this. Once again, let me go back to the Imperation. Let me take here, instead of a record data, let me take the record API. Let's click on save. Deploy this to the source org. Now, let me check developer console. Let's save. LWC account today. Phone number, fax, industry, banking, create account. If something is wrong with the account object, it is corrupted. Okay, so contact is working fine. So let's go with the contact. LWC. Today I created contact. I'll give the 2404. So let's click on a create contact. Now let's go ahead and see in the contact list. LWC today created contact. I think account level, something is having a problem. So what I'll do is in the contact, so whatever we have created a contact, for that contact, I'm going to add a few more input fields. I'm going to add few more input fields. So lightning input. What are the fields that I have? Contact, phone number, fax is there. Contact, phone, fax, email is there, email, or else I can take another one which is called as a, let's take the email. Now here handle phone, handle contact fax, handle contact email. Perfect, let me save this and let's go back to the JavaScript. So this is phone, event. Now for the phone, in order to store the phone, I need a variable phone. Similarly, this dot phone, I'm going to capture it from the event dot target dot value. And I have a handle contact fax. Let me use that. Event this dot, I'm going to use the fax here. Fax this dot facts equal to event dot target dot value. Similarly, I have an email. So let me copy the email. I'm creating a function for email, handle contact email event. I have to create one more field here, email. This dot email equal to event dot target dot value. Now here last name, then I need a phone. So API name of the contact phone is phone. And here I'll be storing this dot phone. And what else I have? I have a fax, this dot fax, comma, email, this dot email. Now let's save this. Let's deploy this to the source to org. Okay, perfect. Let's go back to the developer console. Let me comment the previous one. Refresh. LWC underscore Rohit, contact phone number, fax, email ID, rohit@gmail.com. Create a contact. Now, let me go back and check the contact. It should be created the contact. LWC underscore Rohit is the contact is created. The contact is created. But the problem here is whenever I click on a create contact, it doesn't give me any intimation like whether the record is created or not. I don't know what is happening here. I'm clicking on the create contact, but back end the record is getting created. But here in the user interface, we will not be knowing that how it is created. So what I'll do is I'll just put one alert message so that whenever a record is created, we know that account record is successfully created. Kind of a alert message. I'm going to place it. So in order to place the alert message, when it is successful, that means when my data is successfully saved into the database, then I want a alert message. That means if I have a try, in try, I'm adding a response equal to greater than. So this is the JavaScript. That means response equal to, I'm building a JSON here. In the JSON, I'm going to place it alert account is created successfully with account ID. I'm going to show the account ID also. What are the account ID? Plus, how can I get the data? Here, I have a response. You can give any name here. You can give any name. It need not to be response. You can give RES or whatever the name you want, you can give it. So I have given here response.id. Then is nothing but a try. That means it is successfully processing the data. In case if I have an error, then I'm going to give the name here error equal to greater than, and then I'm going to build a JavaScript. Inside this JavaScript, alert record creation is failed. Account record creation is failed. Now here I'm going to display error.body.message. Now let's refresh. Now simply I did what are the create record? I'm passing the API name here. where we are building the API name of contact and the fields. Then is nothing but a try. Inside the try, I have given a name to it, response. You can give any name. A response equal to greater than, I have built the JSON script here. And JSON script is ending here. After then we have a catch. Now let me deploy this to the source org. Now it is deployed. Let's refresh. Now I'll say that LWC underscore Sri Lakshmi underscore today, phone number and the fax, email ID, Sri Lakshmi @gmail.com. Click on create. When I click on a create, it says that account is created successfully with account ID. Now here it is giving as a undefined. The reason for undefined is I have given a capital I there. I have given a capital I there. Now we have to give a small I, response dot small I. Because I have given here capital I, case sensitive. So that's the reason it is coming here undefined. Now let me refresh again. Let me create a new one. Now this time it is going to give me the proper account ID. Now LWC underscore Madhu Mohan underscore today. Now phone number, fax, email ID, madhumohan@gmail.com. Click on create. Now it is coming as a account is created successfully with the account ID. So this is the account. It's not account ID, it's a contact ID basically. The contact ID, let me place this here inside the contact. So this is the record it is created with the information. Now this is the record it is created. Right, that's about the create record. In Imperation, create record. Now next one is a delete record. Next one we will see about the delete record. Delete record is also same. Delete record also have a method called delete record, and then you have a dot then dot catch. The same concept. The same concept. In the try, you will say that response equal to greater than JSON. Now you will be building the JSON inside it. For the catch, you will say that error equal to greater than and then JSON. And here you will be passing the whatever the record API is there, you will be passing the data. For delete record also same. Create and delete has a same way of implementation. So let me go ahead and quickly implement one example. Control-Shift-P, create a LWC component. I am creating the LWC delete record. Now let's go to the HTML. In the HTML, I'll add a lightning hyphen card. Inside the hyphen card, let's say the title equal to delete record. Now inside this, I'll just add a one button, because for the delete record, I just need a ID. I do not need any information from the user. I do not need any information from the user. So lightning button label equal to, this is a LWC delete button, LWC delete. Now here variant equal to, let's give it as a it's a delete button, so we'll give it as a destructive, then on click equal to, let's say that handle delete. Now that's it in the HTML. Now let's go to the JavaScript. Let me copy this function. Now here we have a one function called handle delete. So for this handle delete, the parameter is event, and then we have it open close. Now what is the data that I need in order to delete a record? What is the data that I need in order to delete a record? What do I need in order to delete a record?
ID.
ID. We need just a ID. So that means from the URL in Salesforce, from the URL, I can directly capture the ID. So here we have a ID. So I can directly capture the ID. So in order to directly capture the ID, so what I'm doing is @API, I'll use record ID. So whenever I add @API, in the import, it has to be there, comma API. Now in the handle catch, I simply need to write delete record, and I'm going to pass the record ID, this dot record ID, and then dot catch. That's it. Now in the metadata, I'll be adding the let's add, because I'm going to place this button on the record level. I'm going to place this record on the record level. So let's add the metadata here. Right click, deploy the source to org. Now name is LWC_delete_record. Now let's go ahead to the developer console. Now contact, edit this, edit page. I'm going to place that LWC component onto the record page. Now LWC delete record. Now let's go ahead and place it here. Okay, so click on save, activation, close. Let's come back. Now from the URL, my LWC is going to capture the ID. And as soon as I click on here, LWC delete, it is going to delete the record. Now it is deleted the record. Now if you go to the recycle bin, in the recycle bin, you will see the record that just now it is created, LWC_Madhumohan_today. So this is just now it is deleted. But once it is deleted, what it is saying that looks like there is a problem. That means it is deleting the record, but it is still staying into the same URL. Instead of that, I wanted to come back to this page. It has to come back to this page. That means if I open any record and if I click on this record, what should happen? It should, by default, it should come back to this contact. Now, whatever the component that I have implemented, it's not a specific to the object. I can place this record anywhere. I can place this lightning component anywhere, because nowhere I'm specifying here object. It's just capturing the ID. It is just capturing the ID. Right? So in case if I want to delete the account, I can place that button on the account. I can place that button on the account, opportunity, or lead, whatever the object that I needed, whatever the object that I needed, I can place it. Now, right now, what is happening is whenever I click on a delete, it is deleting the record, but this does not look like a write. It has to come back to the same page. It has to come back to the same page. Now, in LWC, we have some concept is called navigation. Navigation item. Now that means once it is successful, once it is deleted successful, response. Once it is successful, then I wanted to navigate. So in order to navigate it, we have a standard terminology in the LWC. You can say that this and open square bracket. Inside this, you need to use the navigation. But before using the navigation, you need to import it. That means whenever you wanted to do the navigation, first you need to import the navigation here. Import. Let's give us some name here. Navigation. Mixin. I'm just giving some name here. From we have something called lightning slash navigation. Now this is the one. Now you have to take this, use this, open, close bracket, the name of the here, whatever the name you have given, navigation mixin dot. You can use navigate. This, let me write it here. Now for this, in order to navigate any page, in JavaScript, you need to do the two steps. First, you need to import, give a navigation, mixin. From, we have a path called lightning slash navigation. This is the path. Once you import it, wherever you wanted to navigate, you have to use this open close bracket. Within this, what are the name you have given here? Navigation mixin dot navigate. Now, here we have a open close bracket. Now this is the standard. This open bracket navigation mixin dot navigate and then open close bracket. Now within this, we need to implement a JavaScript. What is the JavaScript? JavaScript has certain keys here. Now one key is type. Which type of it? That means, do you want to navigate to the standard object page or a navigation object page, or do you want to go to the custom page like that? So here I want to go for a standard underscore object page. Now, what are the attributes? You need to pass the attributes. This is the standard coding. So attributes, we need to pass type and the attributes. Inside the attributes, inside the attributes, let's say object API name, because you need to specify which object do you wanted to move. So for example, I wanted to, once it is done, everything is perfectly done, move to the contact object, move to the contact object. And in the contact object, we have a list view, we have a new button, we have a edit button, we have a different contact pages are there. So which action do you want to go for it? So I'll say that action name list, action name list. Now here my attributes are completed. My attributes are completed. Now if it is a list, there are many list views are there. There are many list views are there. So in that case, I'll say here state equal to filter name, state equal to filter name equal name colon recent. Recent. This is this navigation mix, navigate, and then you have a open brace, close brace. Within this, you are building a JavaScript. This JavaScript has a type, attribute, state. Every time state might not be mandatory. Every time state might not be mandatory, but attribute is mandatory because you need to specify the object name or a API name or something you need to specify it, something you need to specify it. So here I'm saying that contact list state equal to recent. Now I'm going to copy this. Now let's go ahead and place it here. Attributes. Comma. Type, comma, attributes. Control S. Now let me refresh this, deploy this to the source org. Now let's go ahead and refresh the contact. Now let me delete something here, which is contact 33. Now LWC delete, it is not going out. It takes some time in order to reflect that, but it will work definitely. In case if you give here home, in case if you give here home, state is not required because you wanted to go for a home page. So either if you want to go for a specific list view, you can specify the specific list view. Or if you want to go for an action here, a home page, then you can specify the home page. Or else if you want to directly land onto the specific URL, land onto the specific URL. That means you wanted to go for a specific URL. In that case also you can use the URL name there. Right now I'm seeing here contact home page. It will take some time in order to reflect. It's not an immediate reflect. Contact 22. LWC delete. It is going to take time. Okay, so that is the logic that we will write it in order to delete it. So if you want to delete it, you need to use this navigation mixin dot navigate type. You have to specify attributes where you wanted to land it on, which object and where action, which action you wanted to land it on. So that's what we have to mention.
Ma'am, like action name is home, right? Like where it will going to land, that? Where it will be going to redirect. Home means like where exactly?
Can you repeat that again?
When like here the action name you taken as a home, right?
Yeah.
So like, where it will be going to redirect?
It will be redirected to the home page. So like this contact, this is a contact home. Now, whenever you go here, observe the URL. Whenever you click on this, what it says, contact home.
Okay, so
This
like
is
what
the
about
home
list?
page.
If you taken as list action type,
List action is whatever the pinned is there. Here it is by default, it is coming to the my contact. Now, in case if you want to go for a recent view, right? In case if you want to go for a new last view, in that case, you can specify that.
I mean, if you don't specify that recent type on new last week, like when it will then like where it will be going to redirect.
If you do not specify, by default, it will come to the home page. Whatever the pinned one is there, this is the pin one is there, right? Whatever the default one is there, it will land.
I mean, before you have taken like action type is list, but you didn't specify like or like my contacts or like that, right? So I just asking
I
about
have
that.
specified in the state filter equal to recent, filter name.
Okay. So I mean, like if action name is like list, then we should definitely need to write this about state, right?
Yeah, usually in the real time, what we do is instead of a list, we will directly bring it to the home page.
Home. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so let's move on. So this is the homework, user ID, username, email, is active, alias, name, profile name. So basically you need to implement a LWC component to display the user details. So you can pass the user details through the, like whenever you open the record, or it's up to you how you are going to pass the record ID to the LWC component. But whenever you pass the LWC component, it has to display these details in the table format: user ID, username, email, is active, alias name, profile.
You are saying about create record.
You need to create a LWC component. Now let me give you one example. Now let's suppose I wanted to display the contact list, the complete contact list. Now I'm going to display the data table. I'm going to display the contact table like a data table. So here I can see the list of the contacts, right? So this list of the contacts I wanted to bring into the Salesforce. I wanted to bring into the LWC. Through the LWC, I wanted to display the list of the contacts. Through the LWC, I wanted to create a list of the contacts. And what I'll do, I'll create Apex class. Now I'm creating the Apex class here. Now class, I'll say that get contacts, CL underscore get contacts. Now what I'm doing here, let me remove this. And if we are calling any method from LWC is calling any method in order like lightning aura. If any aura wants to call method, what is the annotation that we use?
Or enable that.
Aura enabled.
Enable that.
So aura enabled, and for the LWC also will use the same thing. But for LWC, you need to use a cacheable equal to true, because it has to be always clear the cache. Aura enable, same annotation, we will use it. Now here public static, I'm going to return the list of contact to the LWC component. So return type should be the list of contact. Now method name is get contact list. Now try catch, I'll remove it from here. Simply I'll write return select ID, first name, last name, phone number, email from contact. Let's take a limit 25. Limit 25. Now this is my Apex class. What I'm doing, I'm returning the list of contact 25, limit is the 25. That means I'm going to return the 25 records to the LWC component. Now Control Shift P, let's create a Lightning Web component. Now LWC, I'll say wire program. Wire program. Now before that, let me deploy this. Issue return list. Deploy this to source org. Okay, it is deployed. Now that is perfect. Now let me go to the LWC component. In LWC component, let me open the HTML. In the HTML, I just need a data table. I just need a data table. So lightning-card title equal to data table. Data table with wire. I am going to use the wire here. Now inside this, I just need a one, which is lightning-data table. And within the data table, we have a key field equal to ID. And then we have a data equal to, assume that right now there is empty. Let me take the empty and the column because we have not decided what is the data there. I'll give it as a blank for now. Columns equal to, I need to bring the column data here. That means field values, what are the header values are there. I need to bring it. And this is the details. This is the details. Now here, in case if you want, let me put it as a get contact list. Get contact list. And that is the data which I'm going to bring it. Something is showing a wrong here. We'll come back to that. Let's go to the JavaScript. Now, first thing I need to implement in the table, I need to implement a column. I need to implement a column. Now, column, we should not be writing within the export. Do not declare the column within the export. It has to be on top. On top, let's say that const equal to column equal to square braces, and then we have a curly braces, similar like what we have done in the Aura. First name, last name, phone number, email. And these are the four. Now I'll use it here. Label, first name, comma, field name, colon, first name, type equal to text, type colon text. That is the first label. And the second label is last name. Last name, and here also last name. Type equal to text. And then the next label which I have is phone. And field name is also phone. Type, I'm going to take it as a phone. First name, I'll take the email. First name is email. Field name is an email. type is email. Type is email. Now we are done with implementing a column. Now what you can do is, here it is referring the COL. Now take this COL within the export to the COL equal to column. COL equal to column. COL equal to column. Now the next step is, now we are done with building the data table. Next step is, I need to call this program. I need to call this method inside the LWC component. In order to call this method inside the LWC component, now copy the method name, go to here on top, import get con list from, we are going to call the Apex method. So @Salesforce, @Salesforce slash Apex slash, we have a method class name called CL underscore get contacts. Let me copy this. This is the class name. Class name dot method name. Class name dot method name. Class name dot method name. Any questions here? Any questions? Till this point, is it clear? What I have done is, in the HTML, I have used the data table. In the data table, whatever the column is there, for that column, I have built the column on top of the export. I have built the column on top of the export. And once we have implemented the column there, then we have used the COL equal to call. COL equal to call. Now the next step is, in order to call the method name, I have used the class name dot method name. And also in the Apex side, I have used the annotation here, @Aura enabled cacheable equal to true. Cacheable equal to true. Now, once we have, that means here, whatever the method output is there, that method output is stored into the get contacts. It's stored into the get con list. Now I have an entire output is stored into the get con list. Now, how can I bring this get con list? Because the output of the contact list is stored in the get con list. Now I need to bring this to the here. Now what is the way that I can use it here? The way is, I need to use @var. @var. So @var is basically, in order to bring the data from server side. In order to bring the data from server side, I'm using the @var. I'm using the @var. Now let's go ahead and use the @var. Now here below the columns, @var. Now as soon as I added here on top, the var is automatically added. Inside this var, what I'm doing is, I'm going to pass that method. And for this, I'll give a name as contacts. I'll give a name to contacts. What is that means? Here, I'm getting the data, right? This data is from the server side. From the server side, I'm getting the information and storing the information in GenCon list. Once it is stored in the GenCon list, now I'm going to store the data by using the @var, by using the @var. I'm passing that imported data to the here, passing the imported data to the down. Once it is passed to the here, then what are the final outcome is there? Everything I'm storing into the context. Everything I'm storing into the contact. So final result will be stored into the context. Final result will be stored into the context. Now in the HTML, I have to give the context here. Now the entire data will be in the context. The entire data, it will be in the context. Now, is that clear?
Ma'am, there you used import get con list, right? So like there we can take any name or like what?
You can take any name. This
Okay.
one you can take any name.
Okay.
Now here, contacts is having a two things. @var will always have a two outputs. @var always have a two outputs. Output of the @var is always two outputs. One is data, another one is error. Data is nothing but successfully you return the result from server to the Apex side. If it is a successful, without any error, you are able to get the data from Apex, then the data will be stored in the data. If there is any error while bringing the data from server side, if there is any error, it stores into the error. Now here, whatever I have given a name here, contacts. So contacts will automatically, whenever I give a context, you can give any name. Automatically, when I give some name there @var, and after that, if I give any name, contacts.data, and then contacts.error. This is automatically at the back end, it will be there. At the back end, it will be there. Now, whenever you are referring into the HTML, instead of just placing the value, whatever the @var, the variable is there, instead of pasting the variable, you just use the contacts.data. Use the contacts.data so that error details will not be shown onto the data table. It cannot be taken the error details. Now let's save this. Let's deploy this to the source to org. It's done successfully. Now what is the component name here? LWC_wire program. What is the data that we are returning? Contact list. Now let me go to the developer console. In the developer console, I'll add the LWC component. LWC component I have added here. Refresh. Now see here, all the data, it is displaying it, right? Now here email, only two of them it is displaying. So what I'll do is, just for a save, I'll do some modification there. Let me go to the Visual Studio. Now here I'll say that where email not equal to null. I need wherever the data, wherever the email ID is not equal to null, there I need the information. Now similarly here I need to change the capital P to small p. Because the reason why I'm changing the capital P to small p is, if you see here, it is displaying as a normal text. It is displaying, phone number is displaying as a normal text. No. Let me did I deploy this? Deploy this search to org. Now we have a proper email address is displaying it. Email address is, it is coming as a hyper, phone number is also coming as a hyper, type is a text, first number, last number is a text. So that's what we have mentioned in the Visual Studio. Type is text for the first name, last name, phone number, type is phone. So it is displaying in the format of phone number, right? So like a underscore with a different font, color. Email is displaying as a different email symbol with a hyphen, phone number. This will be automatically taken care whenever you give a type which is similar to that. So type email, type phone number, type, right, URL, whatever you will give, that is the same format it will be displayed. Now I have a list of the data tables for, this is for contact tables. This is for contact tables. Now, similarly, what you can do is you can implement a Apex class. You can implement a Apex class. In the Apex class, you need to pass the record details. Once the record details, that means you need to query the data. You need to query the data here. Query the user data and pass the user data to the LWC program. Only single record pass it, so that you can display in the table format what are the user ID, username, right? Either you can display like this, either you can use the data table, or we have a HTML table. So better use the HTML table. So if you use the HTML table, then you will be able to implement this table. Clear? Now, we'll just go through the 15 minutes LWC Lifecycle Hooks. So Lifecycle Hooks are 6 type of Lifecycle Hooks. First one is a constructor, connected callback, render, rendered callback, disconnected callback, error callback. Constructor is nothing but execute when the component is initiated. As soon as the LWC component is loaded, as soon as LWC component is loaded, the constructor gets executed. Connected callback, whenever the component is injected within the DOM, then we will use the connected callback. Render is nothing but it executes when we need to explicitly call the override existing rendering functionality. Render callback is nothing but after this render callback is going to execute. Disconnected callback is also, that means whenever we disconnect from the remove, that means the component has removed from the DOM. Whenever the component is removed from the DOM, that time it is going to be the disconnected callback. Error callback is whenever there is any error, if you want to handle any error, in that case it is a error callback. So simple thing, if we are starting executing the LWC component, we are starting it. As soon as we are executing the LWC component, immediately the constructor is get executed. Constructor get executed. Once the constructor is executed, that means the constructor will be, when it will be called, the method this will be called whenever the component first time it is created. Component, when it is first time it is created, then we have a connected callback. So connected callback is whenever the element is inserted into the DOM. That means there is some UI inserted within the DOM. So within the DOM, whenever it is inserted, connected callback is going to call. From the connected callback, it goes to the render. From the render, it goes to the render callback. That means we are going to call render is nothing but calling this method to update a UI. So you are updating, or a user is updating some UI. So whenever user is updating some UI, or it may be called before or after. So like before the LWC or after the LWC event, like this is basically UI updates. UI updates. Rendered callback is nothing but called after the render of the component. This is basically hook. This component is if you are passing any data from bottom to top, that means from child to parent. In case if you are passing any data, that time it will be called rendered callback. From the rendered callback, it will call a disconnected callback. Disconnected callback is nothing but I am taking out the component from the DOM. I am taking out the component from the DOM. Now, whenever I take the component from the DOM, it is disconnected. From the disconnected, we are going to call the error callback. Error callback is not mandatory every time. In case if you want to any error handling, that time we can use the error callback. From here, it goes to the end. From here, it goes to the end. Now, which is nothing but we have a start method here. We have a start method here. In detail, start, the constructor called on the parent. For example, you have a parent and child component. So the constructor is called on a parent. Whenever the constructor is called, that means the component is first time it is loaded. That time we are going to check, is there any public property is available or not? Is there any public property need to be updated? When I say public property is nothing but @API. When it is public property is nothing but @API. If there is any updates needs to be happen on the public property, we have to update first. Then it will call the component that we are going to insert into the DOM. The component we are going to insert inside the DOM. Once it is inserted inside the DOM, then we will have a connected callback in the parent. We are going to, this side is everything first, it will execute the parent. So it will go to the connected callback of the parent. Then parent rendering is going to happen. Once the parent rendering is happen, then it will call the child component. Now in the child component also same steps. In the child component, first it will execute the constructor. Then it will check whether the public property data needs to be pending to update or not. So it is going to check if it is need to update it, then it will update the public property values, and then it will come to the inserting into the DOM. The child component we need to insert inside the DOM. Once it is inserted inside the DOM, then we'll have a connected callback. So once the connected callback is done, then we are going to call the child rendering. So once the child rendering is done, then we will call back the rendered callback. From the rendered callback, we'll go to the parent render and then end. Now, if you observe the steps here, parent and child has the same steps. As soon as whether it is a parent or a child, constructor is going to call at the first stage. Once the constructor is called in both of them, it is going to check the public property values. Is there any pending? After that, it is going to insert the DOM. Then we have a connected callback. Then we have a rendered. Then rendered callback. Then we are going to disconnected callback. That means we are taking out of the component. Component is coming out. That means all the steps are completed. Now we are closing the component. When we are closing the component means we are taking out the component from the DOM. So that time we call it as a disconnected callback. Then we will end it here. We will end it here. Now, the execution of the LWC is, as I have explained, constructor of the parent gets called first, then parent's connected callback gets called, then render method called, and then constructor of the child gets called, child connected callback is called, child rendered callback is getting called, then parent rendered callback is going to call. And then parents disconnected callbacks is getting called. So this is the execution of the LWC component. Which are the program you take? If you do not have a child component, then the constructor of the parent gets called parents connected callback, parents render, parents rendered callback, parents disconnected callback, parents error handling, if there is any error handling is there. But if you have a child will be executed after the parent. But for the disconnected one, first parent has to be disconnected, then the child has to be disconnected. For the disconnected callback, first parent has to be disconnected, then child has to be disconnected. Now that's all. And the homework is implement a LWC component to display the list of opportunity details. Similar like whatever I have implemented right now, right? So these are the contact table. Similarly, you need to implement the data table for the opportunity and display the opportunity details are like, for example, display the opportunity name, opportunity stage, and then amount, opportunity name, opportunity stage, close date, amount. These are the 4 fields displayed. So that's all for today. So what did we learn so far? What did we learn so far? Opportunity name, opportunity stage. And then we have a close date. Close date. And then we have amount. So display these values. So we have discussed so far programming based LWC impression, lifecycle hooks in LWC, and the program execution in LWC. This is what we have seen. So that's all for today.